Hi everybody, this is Joe Parker from the Pixel Depot. Thanks for tuning in. I wanted to do a quick video to show you a little bit of the changes that I'm thinking about in terms of track plan for the Grunge. In the track planning video I said that a track plan is never finished, and in this case this is true. I've been thinking about what structures to use and where to put them, and that has caused me to change a little bit where I think the track is going to go, so I wanted to give you a quick update on it. To simplify things, I printed out the track plan at a 1-to-1 ratio so that I could lay it over the top of the layout as you see here. I've also put some structures down so that I have an idea of what might fit in certain areas. That diner at the front is something that I've had for a long time. That used to be on the contest diorama that's in some of the previous videos. So as you can see here, I've been attempting to mock up the structures that will go here on the right side of the layout. That box is roughly the same size as the structure that I'm thinking about putting there, especially in terms of height. So it's there to make sure that we don't bump it as we walk by before building the structure and actually hitting it and taking damage. We'll find out if we hit the box and knock it off first. The structure at the back, in the back corner here, will be a bar, a tavern, so that the workers in this area have some place to go after a long day at work. This structure here will be kit bashed since I don't have space to put the entire thing in place. There will be a loading dock on the right hand side where the truck currently is. The track will run through underneath the building, and the reason that I'm kit bashing it is I want to have something in the back behind that truck there so that it's hiding the background photo. On the left hand side here, the structure will also sit back so that it's a nice wide structure. That's going to require me to move the track. In this photo you can see where the track currently is in relation to where the footings for that wall are going to be. So that track will need to be moved back closer to the backdrop. You can see where this turnout is for now, and no, I'm not considering putting in any additional turnouts. But what I was thinking about doing was having a ghost track come off here, as if there had been a switch there at one time and had been removed. However, given that this front area here of the layout is intended to be an alley where there'll be lots of activity and pavement and a team track and so on, I decided against that. So I was using this piece of flex track here to try and figure some things out. As I mentioned a second ago, this area here is intended to be an alleyway where there's going to be lots of activity, including loading and unloading. I wanted to have a raised loading area over here, but again, because of the way that things lie, it's fairly tight, given I had to cut off 3 inches from the original plan. What I was thinking of doing was moving this track this way along that plane to give me a larger area over here for the loading dock. The original reason for doing that was that I was thinking that I wanted to have angled areas for tractor trailers to park in there. There is not enough room in order to do that, however, so even if I was to move the track this way, there still probably wouldn't be enough room to put 40-foot trailers or a tractor trailer in there for scenic purposes. I may abandon that idea entirely, but it still is a little bit in play, but doubtful. So, let's quickly go through the formal changes to the track plan since the last video. Here's the track plan as we last saw it. I've decided to put the tavern in the corner at the top right. To make that fit correctly, I had to move the sidewalk, street, and the white building to the left. I then decided I wanted to include the small loading dock for the truck, so I moved the building even further to the left. While I was at it, I enlarged the sidewalk in front of the tenement building, the one currently represented by the cardboard box previously in this video. Because the street moved, I had to shorten the team track just a little bit. Taking into account the new depth I calculated for the white building, and the final measurement for how far off the street the loading dock will be, I moved and resized the building again. As a result, I needed to change the size of the building in the top center as well. But that's not the final shape of that building, so stay tuned for the upcoming video on structures. Next, I moved the location of the spur track for the white building. Because I wanted it to seem like the spur used to switch back to serve the industry at the top center, I temporarily put a turnout template in to get the right spacing. I then relocated the turnout in the top center so that the track would flow well. This shouldn't impact operations at all. I then reconnected all the tracks. So here's the current track plan, which I'll call version 1.1. I'll include a link in the description below. The point I want to reiterate here is that even if you think you've got your plan finished as you think through structures and operations and things along those lines, it's okay to make changes along the way. Remember, it's a plan, it's not set in stone. You're going to discover things as you go along the building and planning process that you didn't think of when you were putting the track plan together. Because it's on paper doesn't mean you can't change it. As you learn, adapt, and you're going to end up with a better track plan and an overall better experience. That's going to do it for this episode. Make sure you subscribe so that you can keep tabs on the progress on the Grunge. My name is Joe Parker, and this channel is the Pixel Depot. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you'll meet me next time in the train room.